right, so my final section of this class is practice of strategy. I'm going to run through that as quickly as I can. So please start dropping your questions now so that as soon as I'm done here, I can now start to entertain your questions. Please start dropping your questions. All right, so if you remember, I talked about this at the beginning, that for me, I wasn't planning to become a strategist, right? I just felt like I was multi-dimensional. I could do so many things. So I wanted to figure out, one, how do I have greatest impact on the world? And then how do I have a great life for myself at the same time? So this is where the practice of strategy comes in. And to tie it all together, I mean, we've talked about what strategy is, the mindset of strategy, the skill set and the tool set. And this is where it all comes together, right? The future really belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. And that is exactly who a strategist is. Okay? And so let me talk a little bit about why strategy matters. Okay? So strategy matters because like we said, everybody thinks, but not every thinking is useful. Exactly. So everybody thinks, not every thinking is useful. So sometimes every businessman thinks, I mean, thought about his business, he's thinking about how he can make, but he's not trained to think. And sometimes they are not very good strategists. They strategize, but many times they're not very good strategists. Okay. So another thing is that the quality of your knowledge informs your understanding, the quality of your understanding. The quality of your understanding informs the quality of your decisions. The quality of your decisions informs the quality of your action. And the quality of your action determines your outcome or the quality of your outcome. And so this is where strategy sits, Everything we want in life, there's a specific outcome we desire. And then, that outcome is influenced by the action we take. That action is influenced by the decisions we make. Decisions is influenced by the understanding or the knowledge we have. And so what strategists do is help to put all of those things together so that we can get the most desired outcome. And that's what makes a strategist valuable, all right. So a strategist is like uniquely situated to integrate and combine and apply, synthesize information from different domains, and this is because you can use all of these various skill set and knowledge to develop novel and useful solutions. So I like to give this analogy of tools and toolboxes. Okay, so to a man with a hammer, every problem is a nail. Okay, so if all you are is a graphic designer and a businessman interacts with you, all you are thinking is, oh, I need to change the logo. Okay, I need to add more color. Okay, we need to animate the logo. Like, because all you have is a hammer, you think that animating the logo is what's going to change the landscape of the business. Maybe, maybe not. But as a strategist, you are a man with a toolbox and not just one tool. So you have your understanding of psychology, you have your skill set of communication. You're putting all of these things together and you're bringing it to a problem. So think about a carpenter that comes to your house with a hammer and you're pointing him to something, and hammer, chisel is what he needs, or spanner. The carpenters use spanner. You get the point. The point is, the right combination of tools will be able to fix the problems, right? Compared to if all you have is one tool. Do you understand? So saying that, and that being said, there are some tools that significantly are useful in almost every type of problem. And every profession has that type of tool. That tool that if you don't have it, you have not started that profession at all. So oh yeah. So the value of strategy is for decision making. The quality of your decision making, like I already pointed out. the quality of decision making equals the quality of your outcome. All right, so let me discuss a little bit about the business of strategy, because I know some of you are already strategists, some of you are intending to practice strategy. So I want you to understand that I know you are very smart, but nobody pays you for being smart. It's about solving problems, and value is derived from solving problems. So your job is to really figure out how you are going to be able to solve problems and deliver value to other people, really. Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, to sell thinking is very difficult, right? And because people assume thinking is unnecessary, people assume that they have done enough of that by themselves. So it might be very difficult to convince someone that, I'll do the thinking for you, and but the difference is, the mistake is that it takes more deliberate effort beyond, just random contemplation and reflection to come up with a coherent plan. It takes skills, it takes knowledge, and it takes time to come up with something that will put you in the best position or at the best advantage. But there's no denying that there's prejudice towards strategy. I've met people that, if you say you want to do strategy for them, their defense goes up immediately. They feel like you just want to scam them. They feel like there's really nothing that you want to do that, they cannot already do by themselves, or they feel like, what is going to be different exactly? And some people, in fact, they believe it's just theory. They be like, are you implementing? If you're not implementing, don't worry. So those are some of the hurdle of like being a strategist as a professional. Okay, so however, you can find your way around it. And so I'm going to discuss these 3 ideas now. Being a strategist can help you determine the type of impact you have in the world, but everything boils down to action. Okay, so there are 3 things I like to talk about, like awareness, leverage, and trade-offs. If you want to actually practice strategy as a profession, you need to consider all these 3 things. So then I'll talk about what is your zoom lens. So first of all, you need to be aware of what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Do you understand? And how to leverage that to your advantage. So a quick story, I used to have a business. I still have that business. I started when I was in school, Muse Creative. I was selling art and architectural material then. And I had so much amazing ideas on how to build this business. But I didn't have a lot of people that could help me in many ways to in executing. So I was carrying too much load. And sometimes it was overwhelming, because I was like, you know what? Why is this business not doing the way I want it to do? And so I eventually realized that I am not an operational person. I can be good at anything I want to do, but I'm not naturally an operational person. I'm a big picture person. I like to think I can create an entire world in my head and on paper, and it will work, and it will be fantastic. But you see, going to sit down and start doing it, making everything happen, that was not me. And I think part of the reason was because of my architectural training. Like I said, an architect just sits down, establishes, based on knowledge, based on principles, based on need, comes up with a solution and hands it over to the people that are build and supervises. So that's kind of how, that's my strength. I can do that on any level, instead of going out to start building. So I'm more of an architect than a bricklayer. But it took me a long time to figure that out, that I was not a very good operational person. And here's why I was not a good operational person. Because it takes many components to put one thing together. And because I'm the type of person that I always deal with multiple components, I'm always looking for multiple components to put together. if I decide to specifically take action to do one thing, I'm going to spend too much time in it. So it's what they call like tunnel vision. I'm going to spend too much time trying to figure that thing out, trying to make it perfect. And the perfection I'm trying to create in just one component might not be significant in the whole of what I'm trying to create. So I'm going to spend too much time. I'm going to spend unnecessary time paying attention to all the unnecessary details, and nothing is going to get done eventually. And so I realized and started to ask questions like, okay, wait, why am I such a terrible operational person? Okay, what can you do as a big picture thinker? And I started to search, and I started to read a lot of articles that were pointing, oh, you could be a strategist, you could work as a consultant. And so I was like, oh, I was excited. I was like, thank God I'm not alone. So it's not because something is wrong with me. It just happens that I have a strength I should be focusing on. And that's one of the reasons why I became more confident in becoming a strategist. Okay. So yes, you have to be aware of your own strengths and limitations. The second thing is that you need to know your leverage. So if you want to make money as a strategist, I've already let you realize that selling thinking is very hard. But if you know that, okay, this is how I can make the most impact and be the most satisfied, you need to figure it out, right? So you need to ask yourself, what are the leverage you have? Am I the kind of person that I know how to write and create content? Go ahead and start doing that a lot, because you build that as a leverage to be able to get opportunities. I'm the type of person that has a very good network or big network. You would use that opportunity. You can start saying, no, let me help you for free. You have a friend that has a business, you start helping them, and they start seeing impact in their business. That might be your entry to strategy. So there is no one way, because this skill set is very transferable. It's down to how you want to actually implement it. So you can decide to start your own business. If you are very entrepreneurial, you can decide to start a product and just use this your strategic thinking mind to knock it out of the park. Right? You can decide to go and work in an agency. You can apply it to consulting. There's so many ways you can do it, but you have to figure out what is your leverage. What is going to give you the best possible opportunity. And so for many of us here, money is what we are looking for, right? There's money in tech, but you hardly see strategy role in tech. For most people, strategy, especially in the tech world, is growth. So anything you see, growth, this, growth, that. Just go and take one or two courses on growth and start applying to all these startups. I mean, that's if, for instance, you're not the entrepreneurial type who wants to start your own consulting or go and start your own business. You want to work in an environment where you can bring all this strategic ability. Someone said also product marketing. Excellent. So you need to recognize that, okay, don't forget we established in the beginning that you have to determine your playing field. So if you recognize that, oh, this is the playing field I want to work in real estate, I want to work in tech. You have to now think, okay, where in tech is strategy or this skill set most valuable? Then you now start to you already have a foundation. That's broad understanding of strategy and how to become a strategist. Then you now start to layer bricks on it. So let's say you need to understand, growth science or growth this. So you build those extra skill sets and knowledge, and then you apply yourself. So I believe personally that as a strategist, you should never be stranded. And that is a very good test of your ability as a strategist, because if what you claim is that I can help people solve problems that put them in the best position in a long term, you should be able to do that for yourself. In fact, you are the best, you are your own guinea fowl. Like you are the best proof of your own product. So, and this also is a mindset. Like I've told you, you need to have the courage to be able to do things sometimes that may not work. Okay? So you should never be stranded as a strategist. As a strategist, you can create value from nothing. Trust me, because you understand the world at a level that most people don't. You can see things that other people don't see. You can put things together that other people don't see. You have the ability to help people see those things that other people don't see. And that is a skill set that would that will bring you wealth if you know how to engage it properly. So think about it as a strategist. You should never be stranded. You can decide that, okay, I'll just go and intern with someone and I'm just going to learn everything the person knows, and I'm going to start, applying the exact same thing. For someone like me, when I started, I didn't see anybody I could exactly exemplify. So I had to break the ground myself. I started to learn things from the scratch. I started to put things together until I had the opportunity, to be paid to do it. And then I did it and I learned more. And then I was able to, make progress in that manner. So, but you don't have any excuse, you must not be stranded. Yeah, so I discussed pros and cons of being a strategist. The pro is that you are less reactive, you are more proactive. So for instance, if you know in the next 5 years, something drastic is about to happen, you are just calm. Strategists are people that can be very patient because you know exactly what outcome you are aiming for, and you know how much deliberate thought and action you are taking to get there. So when things happen that you did not expect, sometimes you don't always have to respond out of panic because you know that you already have everything covered. You've been deliberate about your approach. But sometimes the con of being a strategist, like I told you, my example is that you go overanalyze sometimes. You don't take enough action. Everything happens in your head. Do you understand? Your mind is your own playing field. So you need to be able to sometimes complement that by having other people in your team that maybe are more proactive, they are more action oriented. They just like to do things, do. If you have people like that you can collaborate with, you do a lot of excellent things. So it also talks to the ability to be aware of yourself. And then the last part, which is the trade-off, is what am I giving up or what am I sacrificing in a bid to get what I want? Okay, what you want ultimately might be, okay, I want to run a very big agency now that does strategy for people. And that's not just going to suddenly happen. You have to make some sacrifices. You get, okay, am I going to do strategy for free for some people? Am I going to go and do internship? Am I going to charge very little? What are the trade-offs that you are willing to make to get to what you want? Trade-offs is another very important thing.